Fellow Americans, what you are witnessing right now is not just a headline, it is the beginning of the end for the immunity Donald Trump has hidden behind for decades. You have seen the news. You have seen the desperate posts on social media. You have heard the panic in his voice. Donald Trump faces jail. This is not a drill. This is not hyperbole. For the first time in our history, a judge has looked at the former president and said, "You are not a king." But the most shattering development is not about Donald himself. It is about who the court is forcing to take the stand. Melania Trump, the one person who has remained silent, the one person who knows the darkest secrets of the Trump empire, has been ordered to testify under oath. And she does not have executive privilege. She does not have the protection of the Oval Office. She is exposed. And that terrifies Donald Trump more than any election loss ever could. But I need you to stay with me because while the cameras are focused on this courtroom drama, while the media is obsessing over whether Donald Trump will be dragged away in handcuffs for contempt of court, something far more sinister is happening to your country. I am going to show you exactly how the Republican Party is using this chaos as a smokescreen. While you are watching the Trump family panic, his handlers in Silicon Valley are quietly dismantling the United States government and selling it for parts. I need you to listen because what I am about to tell you affects your bank account, your privacy, and your freedom. The danger is not just the man in the courtroom, it is the machine they have built behind him. Let us start with the immediate threat. Why is Donald Trump facing jail? It is simple. He believes he is above the law. The judge in the Michael Wolff defamation case has finally had enough. You have a former president who thinks he can intimidate witnesses, who thinks he can threaten the judiciary, and who thinks he can use the Department of Justice as his personal law firm. But this time, it did not work. The court has ruled that Melania Trump must answer questions about her husband's connections to Jeffrey Epstein. Do you understand the gravity of that? This is not about politics. This is about predatory behavior. This is about a network of abuse that goes back decades. And now the First Lady is going to have to raise her right hand and tell the truth or risk perjury charges herself. That is why Donald Trump is spiraling. That is why he is risking jail time for contempt. He is trying to silence the one witness he cannot control. However, we need to look deeper. As a prosecutor, I have learned to look away from the distraction and focus on the crime. And the real crime against the American people is happening right now in the shadows of the Trump administration. While Donald fights for his own survival, the tech oligarchs who bought his campaign are collecting their return on investment. You need to know the name. Peter Thiel. You need to know the name Elon Musk. These are not just businessmen, they are the architects of a new authoritarianism, and they are using this administration to privatize the surveillance state. Do you remember when Republicans told you they cared about privacy? Do you remember when they screamed about government overreach? That was a lie. In July of 2025, while the country was distracted by political theater, the Department of Defense and the Department of Homeland Security signed a $10 billion contract with Palantir Technologies. This is the company founded by Peter Thiel, the man who bankrolled J.D. Vance's entire career. They call this system Immigration OS. They tell you it is just for border security. They tell you it is to keep you safe. Do not believe them. I have seen the documents. I know how these systems work. Immigration OS is not just tracking people crossing the border. It is an artificial intelligence dragnet that aggregates data from the IRS, from your license plate readers, from your social media activity, and from your credit card transactions. It builds what they call a target package on anyone deemed a threat to the state. And because Palantir is a private company, they are not subject to the same oversight as the government. They have effectively privatized the CIA and handed the keys to a Republican donor. This is what I mean when I say they are building a police state. They are creating a digital prison where your data is the bars and Peter Thiel holds the key. But it gets worse. You need to understand the financial coup that has just taken place. On January 23rd, President Trump signed an executive order that bans the Federal Reserve from creating a central bank digital currency. Now, on the surface, they frame this as protecting you from government tyranny. That is the language they use to manipulate you. But look at what the executive order actually does. By banning a public option, they have handed the entire future of digital money to private stablecoin issuers. They have handed the future of the dollar to the crypto billionaires who funded their super PACs. This is not freedom, this is feudalism. They are creating a system where billionaires control the currency, where private corporations can freeze your assets if they do not like your politics, and where there is no democratic accountability. They are dismantling the Federal Reserve's power to regulate the economy and handing it to the PayPal mafia. I want you to really think about that. They are stealing the sovereign power of the United States dollar and giving it to their friends in Silicon Valley. And they are doing it while you are distracted by the headline that Trump faces jail. Let us talk about J.D. Vance. You have to ask yourself, why is the vice president so quiet while his boss is melting down legally? It is because J.D. Vance is not working for Donald Trump. He is working for the tech sector. He is the bridge between the chaos of the Trump White House and the calculated control of the surveillance state. Every policy coming out of this administration, the deregulation of artificial intelligence to the privatization of intelligence data, benefits the specific group of venture capitalists who put him in power. They do not care if Donald Trump goes to jail. In fact, a weakened, distracted president is exactly what they want. It allows them to run the government from the shadows without interference. This is the most dangerous moment in our republic's history. We have a president who is so compromised by his own legal problems that he cannot govern. He is lashing out, threatening judges, and bringing the dignity of the office to a new low. And while he screams on social media, the people behind him are rewriting the laws of this country. They are dismantling the civil service. They are firing nonpartisan experts and replacing them with algorithms written by Palantir. They are taking the human element out of government and replacing it with cold, hard code that is designed to protect their power and suppress your rights. I want you to imagine what happens when Melania Trump testifies. Imagine the secrets that will come out. Imagine the chaos that will engulf the White House. The Republicans will try to tell you that this is a witch hunt. They will try to tell you that the justice system is weaponized. But that is projection. They are the ones weaponizing the government. They are the ones using the Department of Justice to settle personal scores. They are the ones using technology to spy on American citizens. The reason they are attacking the judge is because they are terrified of the truth. They know that if the rule of law holds, their entire house of cards comes crashing down. But I need to be clear with you. The threat does not end with a court ruling, even if Donald Trump is held in contempt, even if he is sanctioned. The machinery he has set in motion will continue to grind. The contracts have been signed. The data centers are running. The algorithms are learning. We are facing a future where your ability to get a loan, your ability to travel, and your ability to speak your mind could be determined by a black box AI system owned by a Republican mega donor. That is the world they are building. A world where justice is for the rich and surveillance is for the rest of us. You might be asking, what can we do? First, you must refuse to look away. Do not let the spectacle of the trial distract you from the substance of the policy. When you see a headline about Melania, ask yourself what regulation they just repealed. When you see Trump threaten a judge, ask yourself what contract they just signed. We must demand accountability not just for the president, but for the companies enabling him. We need to investigate the Palantir contracts. We need to expose the conflict of interest in the crypto executive order. We need to stand up and say that the American government belongs to the people, not to Elon Musk, not to Peter Thiel, and certainly not to Donald Trump. The Republicans want you to feel helpless. They want you to think that their power is inevitable. They want you to think that because they have the money and the tech, they have already won. But they are wrong. They are terrified of you. They are terrified of the truth. That is why they are trying to silence the press. That is why they are trying to break the courts. That is why they are so desperate to keep Melania from testifying, because they know that their power is built on lies. And one sworn testimony, one moment of absolute truth, can shatter the illusion they have spent billions of dollars to create. So, as we watch this historic legal battle unfold, remember that the stakes are higher than one man's freedom. We are fighting for the soul of this nation. We are fighting against a vision of America where the president is a king and the citizens are data points. I will not let that happen. The Democratic Party will not let that happen. We will fight them in the courts. We will fight them in Congress. and we will fight them in the court of public opinion. Donald Trump may face jail, but if we do not stop this agenda, the American people will face a life sentence of surveillance and control. Do not be fooled by the noise. Stay focused on the signal. The judge is doing his job. The legal system is holding firm. But the political battle is just beginning. They are coming for your privacy. They are coming for your financial freedom. And they are using the chaos of this presidency to hide their tracks. We see them, we know what they are doing, and we are not going to be silent. The testimony is coming, the truth is coming, and no amount of money, no amount of tech, and no amount of bluster from Donald Trump can stop what is coming next. This is about the rule of law versus the rule of oligarchs. This is about democracy versus autocracy. The lines are drawn, and when Melania Trump takes that stand, the whole world will see that no one, not even the President of the United States, is above the consequences of their actions. But until then, keep your eyes open. Watch the contracts, watch the money, and do not let them steal your future while you are watching their reality show. The fight is here, the fight is now, and we are going to win.